that Friday night we cease the hurry. We slow down to feel Yahuwah's gentle sweet. A holy day that's free from worry. In His embrace our souls find peace so deep. No cooking pots, no broom in sight. We rest our hands and quiet our mind. In Yahuwah's love, everything feels right. A sacred time that's truly one of a kind. The Sabbath day is His delight. From sunset to sunset, we revel in His light. A gift to those who love and obey. The seventh day will honor always. No work for hands or employed strength. We gather hearts in worship and praise. His commands we follow not in vain. With songs of joy and thankful gaze. An appointed time for all to share. Age to age, it's forever blessed. In this calm our burdens bear. The seventh day, a day of restful zest. For all time, for every nation, Yahuwah's day of serene devotion. Generations will keep this celebration in reverence and with pure emotion.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason,
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
and we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very, very much for being a part of our little tiny family out here in the middle of this jungle. And it is a windy season today, and so you will hear the absolutely normal roof that is very loud and kind of awkward sounding. You'll also hear the wind that is ripping our house to shreds. So as we begin this Shabbat reading, we want to thank all of you guys for spending your very precious time listening to the word of our Creator and spending this appointed time, which is an amazing appointed time. For those who keep Shabbat and those who know what Shabbat is, and there's a lot of people that will venture in that have zero idea what this is even about. Well, the seventh day of rest is actually the fourth commandment of the 10 commandments in that list, and it says that we are to make this day a holy convocation. It's a day of rest where we do not work. We do not let our manservant or maidservant work. We don't put employees to work. We don't have our animals work. It's a day that we just chill out, that we get close to our Creator and get close to His appointed times. With that, let's open us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for your Torah. I thank you for your Shabbat. I thank you for blessing this family. I thank you for bringing us all together on the day you have set apart, the day you have said will be the day of rest, the day that you have given to us. And we thank you for giving us this day of rest to dive into your word. I ask that the Ruach is on us today, that we are able to understand the words that you have written down for us, the words that you have given to us. We thank you for your Torah. We thank you for your prophets. We thank you for your Son. In Yahushua's name. Amen.
All right, Jaden, will you please open us up with our Shema?
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, And you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall front between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay. All right. So that is a beautiful set of scriptures that we have. We talk about this every Shabbat. But for those who are new, this is something that if you are in what I call the actual pig trough, which is any religion. And I've explained this in the regular weekly readings that I talk about, but I've come to the conclusion that everything in religion is an absolute pig trough. And what you get is you will look in this pig trough and somebody will toss a big bucket of slop and slime in there. And it says all laws have been nailed to the cross. And then they toss another big bucket in there and it says the Creator and His Son are all the same individuals. And they call it the Trinity. Then they throw another bucket of slime and slop in there and it says you can worship any day that you want to worship. Don't worry about the seventh day. And they just keep throwing buckets and buckets of pig slop in there. And then pretty soon, who do you have that comes eats all of this food, right? You have the pigs. And we do not want to be the pigs. We do not want to be the people that are eating pig slop, because when you are told that the laws of our Creator are nailed to the cross and don't matter to us, then what these people are spewing is pig slop. And as we look at pig slop and look at the contents of it, none of us are going to want to order up a big bowl of pig slop. None of us are okay with this. So if we're not okay eating a big old pile of pig slop, then why are we okay ingesting lies that come from the pig slop preachers that are out there lying to every single person out there? So we don't want pig slop. We want content. We want meat and potatoes. We want things that will nurture us, that will keep us clean, that will keep us safe, that will keep us for all generations. And this is what we have in Scriptures. The very first 5 books of Scriptures are the good knowledge base of life. They give us the way that we contain ourselves, our kids, our family, our wives, our jobs, how we worship. Everything that we need to do have been given to us in the first 5 books of Scriptures, but most people take the pig slop over the actual Scriptures. And so this is the channel that you will find out what exactly pig slop is. And pig slop is 45,000 different denominations of Christianity and hundreds of thousands of other denominations of all these other satanic religions that all go against the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And when you have a single religion and you look at their doctrine, you look at the doctrines of man, you immediately are able to identify pig slop. Because when these people are trying to get you down for a potluck dinner after church where you guys have pork and beans, you realize that's pig slop. When they want you to worship on the wrong day of the week, that's pig slop. When they tell you that it's okay to celebrate Christmas, Easter, all of these pagan Gentile ways, you realize it's pig slop. And so we don't want pig slop. We want good food. So with that, Mr. Cole, will you please say hi to our brothers and sisters that are out there?
All right, we have the Judge, we have William and Sarah Baker, Candy and Ruby, Charles, Jeremy and Callan, Jeannie, Not of This World, Honeymoon Stitch, which is Brian, Noe is here, Rich James, Mama CA, Yehoshua, Hamashiach is my savior, Joanna, and I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
All right, this is a cozy little quaint group, and this is just the way we like it. We don't care if there's 2 people here. We don't care if it's just our single table, but we do care about you guys making it to our table because this is our family. And I would rather much have a small channel and be able to sit and communicate with all of you guys and talk amongst you guys. And this is the fun of the Yahoo and the Torah reading that we have. When you guys run into issues or things that don't make any sense or just want to toss them out there, toss them in the chat. There's always people in the chat that have the answers. A lot of the times we have the answers to the things that you're asking. And what we're about to go through right now is we're about to go through the most tremendous things that we have ever been given into our lives. And it is the laws of our Creator. Now, I talk to people about the fresh air that comes in when you start breathing through the filter of the Torah. And when we live in this world and don't have the filter of the Torah, we get involved into a whole bunch of bad things. And sometimes these bad things last our entire lifetimes. Sometimes we get so jacked up with the ways of the world, and it's so late into the Torah that we just carry on a whole bunch of abscesses with us. And one of the things about the Torah walk is that the Torah walk is it's a way forward. It is something that is not easy right out of the gate because we have been programmed with people telling us it's hard. But like I tell everybody out there, it is really, really easy. It is not something like you have all of these different channels out there and nobody's out there really telling you guys that the laws are super easy to keep. That's it. That's the bottom line. You will not find something that is hard to keep or doesn't make any sense as we go through this list of Torah commands. And so as we go through this list, it is best that we write these on our heart, mind, and soul so that we are unable to sin against our Elohim Most High. And so this is why we do this on a Shabbat, because this is an appointed time, because we have precedents of amazing people like Ezra and Nehemiah and guys back in the day that people were crying and weeping and celebrating when they were reading the Torah on a Shabbat. And so here we are right now, and for those who want to weep and cry over the Torah, I understand. It is a breath of fresh air. It is something so much different than the rest of this, the grime that these people have tried to feed us with this pig slop. So let's get into some solid food right here. Commandment number 1, be fruitful.
Commandment number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Every dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Okay, do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Matzah. There is one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah. You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat. Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock. Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's. Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times. Yahuwah's law for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifices to other Elohim. Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset. Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor. Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers. Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year. Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cure your goat in his mother's milk. Obey the minister Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah. Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use anointing oil on an old person. Do not make or use perfume on an old person.
Do not eat the fat. Do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws. Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim. Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman her uncleanness. You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh, holy. Do not reap the corn of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor. Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool. Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery. Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos. Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium. Respect your elders.
Have the correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation. Keep the Feast of First Fruits, Shavuot, one more count, Pentecost.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Obel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The Torah of being a Nazir.
Wear zizit on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's Torah of inheritance.
The Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah, as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of the false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger of clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart or shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
The prophet test of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is to get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
Torah of divorce.
Do not take a first millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back for the forgotten sheep in the field, leave it for the stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you should take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay, so there you go. These are very, very easy things to keep. And I saw somebody who commented on a one of our YouTube channels, and they said that I was the only channel out there that told people how easy it was to keep the laws of our Creator, and how everybody else makes it very, very complex. And I didn't realize that I did that, but I do realize that it is very not complex, and I do realize that there's an agenda out there from all different reigns. And if you look at the agenda of the pig trough religious system, they don't want you coming out of this because they make their money on this, right? They make their 10%. All of their houses and all of their properties and all of their buildings, all this stuff, it comes out of you being ignorant. And so as we are looking through these laws, statutes, and commandments, there's nothing that is hard to deal with. It's just a very, very easy set of regulations. Once you align your lives into them, it becomes very, very easy. And one of the things that is the most complex when you first start keeping these commandments is the appointed times. And the appointed times are something that you could probably work your entire life and never come up with exactly how we're supposed to be keeping them, because we're not back in the days and we don't know exactly how they kept them, but we do know that we can keep them, and we can do the very best that we can to keep them in an understanding of what they should be kept. And we're not keeping them to be perfected at keeping them. We are keeping them so that we show that we are obedient to our Creator, who has said keep them for all generations. And these are the kind of things that will give us street credits when it comes to the kingdom of Elohim. And these are the things that, as we read through scriptures, it is very, very clear that this is a testing ground for us for all times and for all generations, that we are basically looking to see if we qualify for the kingdom. Are we people of the kingdom, or are we not? Have we let the world completely consume us to the point where we haven't even read our scriptures at all this week, right? We haven't even gotten into communication with our Elohim at all. all of these things have just completely gone by and past us, and the stresses of this entire week, we look at the very end right before Shabbat and say, have we even read our scriptures at all? Right? And for us that have said no, then we're on the wrong path. We're on the path that we need to absolutely be seeking our Creator, especially in these end times. You know, I've talked about this in my family, we are definitely in the end of the end times. There's no way this cannot be with what we are doing, and there's no better time than right now to align your life into the ways of the kingdom to come. It's just we don't know what the future is going to bring, and we don't need to know what the future is going to bring, because we can bring our success to a successful end if we are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, and that we have the faith of our Messiah. It's a two-way road that we absolutely need both pieces of this road to make this kingdom, and this is why we have been given 120 years as a testing. Okay, here we are into the book of Numbers. Jaden, give me a quick breakdown of where we're at. Let's discuss it. Hit it.
We are in the days of the numbering, which we got out of Egypt with some fighting to get out of Egypt, and we crossed over the Red Sea. People made it. Moses went and got commands on the mount, and then people went and started sinning and worshiping an idol after they just learned they shouldn't worship idols, and they did worship idols. They had to go back down the mountain, kill a whole bunch of people, go back up on the mountain, and then he learned everything about the blueprints of the temple, learned about the Levites and what he would do, what his commands would be, and then he started building that stuff and put everything into work, the Levites, and now we are in the days of Numbers, where we are numbering people and numbering our armies, our Levites, our people going to war, and numbering all our gifts as well that we give to the priests. And last week we learned about the Passover and what they would need to do on the Passover.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump into chat real quick. Rick Johnson was talking about first child getting double portions, had like the little wonder dude on there. That is the Torah command, and the reason is that the first child is supposed to be responsible for all the rest of the children as well as the parents. And so when you have, say, 10 kids and you have your very firstborn, that very firstborn is supposed to help the kids all the way till the parents are dead, and to where there needs to be somebody that is watching over the rest of the family. And when you give your firstborn that responsibility, you also give them double portions. That double portions is to be able to help the other kids along the way and to enable that oldest to be able to fulfill that Torah command. And so that's what it was always for. And so I hope that explains that to you all. I think that's it. Okay, let's get it. Numbers 10. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, make 2 silver trumpets for yourself, make them of beaten work, and you shall use them for calling the congregation and for breaking camp. And when they blow both of them, all the congregation shall meet before you at the door of the tent of appointment. And if they blow one, then the leaders, the heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather to you. And when you blow a shout, the camps that lie on the east side shall depart. And when you blow a shout the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall depart. They blow a shout for them to depart. Okay, explain to me, guys, the trumpet going. Okay, were you listening? You know anything? Oh, yeah. What happens with the trumpets?
So basically, trumpets are our guide. It tells us what's going on. Basically, we need to blow it every time. Like every time the congregation needs to come together, Levites need to come and tell us
But
something.
how are they blowing these things? We just read it.
With their mouths?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Do you blow it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times? What's the deal?
He blew it twice.
When
It depends
you- when
on
you
what
blow
we're
it-
doing.
Eli, somebody who paid attention.
When you blow both of them, the entire congregation comes together. When you blow one of them, just the leaders come together. When you blow one of them once, it like one side departs. When you blow another one of them once, the other side departs.
Yes. Okay.
That's what that is.
Okay. Continuing on. And when you blow a shout, the camps that lie on the east side shall depart. When you blow a shout the second time, the camps that lie on the south side shall depart. They blow a shout for them to depart. And when the assembly is to be assembled, you blow, but do not shout. And the sons of Aaron, the Kohanim, blow with the trumpets, and it shall be for you for a law forever throughout your generations. Okay, so here's another law throughout all the generations on exactly how it is they assembled the people. Big deal. Things like this, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, have to be discussed, because you have a great number of people and you don't have texting, you don't have a phone, you can't just sit there and shout. You're not going to be able to hear one person shouting, and so we have a whole bunch of horns. And the horns are able to get people where they need to go. They are there to move them. They are there to battle with the stuff. All these kind of things. People were listening for these trumpets. Okay, 9. And when you go into battle in your land against the enemy that distresses you, then you shall shout with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahuwah your Elohim, and you shall be saved from your enemies. And in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and at the beginning of your months, you shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over your peace offerings, and they shall be a remembrance for you before Elohim. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Now, there's a command, not even a command, but there's something that we should probably all consider, because we used to do this. We used to blow our trumpets at a new moon, because we were back on the calendar where we were basically doing that thing. But when you look at the command of actually blowing your trumpet at the beginning of the month, number one, right here, we're talking about a little silver trumpet. We're talking about trumpets that are not shofars like we are talking about, because they very clearly said a silver trumpet, which is, you guys know the band of people. They have the little silver trumpets, things like that. So there's something to consider as far as that goes, because we don't technically have a command that says blow a shofar at the beginning of every month. We do have something, I think it's in Psalms or somewhere of the sort, where they had done it before, I can't remember, and there was a precedent, but we don't actually have that command that says blow your trumpets at the new months. If you were back in the Levite days and you had these little silver trumpets and you were doing this, then that would be a command. And I don't see anything wrong with people blowing a trumpet if you want to get the new month and you want to blow it in memory of Elohim, because this is what the command was for. And they shall be a remembrance for you before Elohim. And that is when they were struggling, or when people, when basically they needed to get the attention of their Elohim, excuse me, they would blow it. Continuing on, 11. And it came to be on the 20th day of the second month in the second year that the cloud was taken up from above the Mishkan of witness. And the children of Israel departed journeying from the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. Thus they departed the first time according to the command of Yahuwah by the hand of Moshe. And the banner of the camp of the children of Yahudah departed first according to their divisions. And over their army was Nachshon, son of Amminadab. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Issachar was Nathaniel, son of Zuar. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliab, son of Kilon. And the Mishkan was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari departed bearing the Mishkan. And the banner of the camp of Reuben departed according to their divisions, and over their army was Eleazar, son of Shedir. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Shimon was Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Gad was Eliasaph, the son of Deuel. And the Kehathats departed, bearing the Mikdash, while the Mishkan was put up before they came. And the banner of the camp of the children of Ephraim departed according to their divisions. And over the army was Elishama, son of Amnihud. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamliel, son of Pedasur. Do we have anything going on? All right.
Richard James wants to know, wasn't it a command to not return to Mitzrayim?
There was something about Mitzrayim, wasn't there?
There's a command that they're not supposed to go back to Mitzrayim.
Yeah, I think there was. Look that up, Eli. The command not to look at that. I don't know. I think there was something like that. We'll look that up real quick, Richie. Okay, continuing on, guys. Keep the chat going. I'm just reading through the chat real quick. Sarah.
Why did they return there with baby Yehoshua then?
Why then did they return?
He was commanded to go to Mitzrayim.
Yeah, he was in a dream.
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, this is a different time for sure.
And this isn't like returning into slavery, going back there to live their lives there. This is him going to safety for his child.
Yeah, so this is a different event, different times, totally different. And this is how many years later was this? Thousands of years.
2000, I think.
2000. I mean, this is many years later that they had this. Eli, was it? Okay, hold on. We will get back to that here in just a second. 23. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamliel, son of Pedasur. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, son of Gidoni. Then the banner of the camp of the children of Dan, which formed the rear guard of all the camps, departed according to their divisions. And over their army was Achiezer, son of Ammishaddai. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Ochran. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Akira, the son of Inyan. Eli, what do you got?
So the only time it talked about is
Get here.
Deuteronomy 17:16 when it's talking about like the duties of a king. It says, "Only he is not to increase horses for himself, nor cause the people to return to Mitzrayim to increase horses. For who has said to you, do not return that way again."
Yeah. And so there's a lot of reasons that number one is when they were first coming out of captivity, they were literally Egyptians on the run, right? I mean, they had spent 400 years in captivity. All of their kids, like, I don't know, probably 5-6 generations of there. People were living about 120, 130 years. So there would have been a whole bunch of people that would have grown up in and around Egyptian culture. And what our Creator was trying to have them do when they exited this is, number one, get rid of all that pagan traditions of men. And that's what all the parents of everybody ended up with. And so there was a lot of cleaning to be done in the tribes of Yisrael to this order. Okay. Continuing on.
Grant says, I believe Yah told Mary and Joseph to go.
Yeah, he did. There was a dream, and I mean, this is for the safety, and this also fulfilled prophecy as well, because it does say out of Mitzrayim, the sun comes. Okay, continuing on.
I believe around 29.
I don't think so. 27 or 28, right?
I'm last on 26.
It might be
27.
26, yeah. Okay, I'll start 26. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Ochran. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Akira, the son of Enan. Such was the order of departure of the children of Israel according to their divisions when they departed. And Moshe said to Korbab, the son of Reuel, the Midianite, Moshe's father-in-law, we are departing for the place of which Yahuwah said, I give it to you. Come with us, and we shall do good to you, for Yahuwah has spoken good concerning Israel. And he replied to him, I am not going, but I am going to my own land and to my relatives. Okay, so what happened right here, Jake?
So basically, this is, I think, Moshe's brother-in-law, and he tells his dude, he's like, hey, come with us, we'll treat you good. And he goes, no, I'm going back to my own land.
Yeah.
So Moshe's going to try to convince him not to go.
Okay. 31. Then he said, please do not leave us, because you know how we are to camp in the wilderness, and you shall be our eyes. And it shall be when you go with us, then it shall be that whatever good Yahuwah does to us, the same we shall do to you. So they departed from the mountain of Yahuwah on a journey of 3 days. And the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah went before them for the 3 days' journey to seek out a resting place for them. And the cloud of Yahuwah was above them by day when they went out from the camp. And it came to be, whenever the ark departed, that Moshe said, rise up, O Yahuwah, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee before you. And when it rested, he said, return, O Yahuwah, to the countless thousands of Yisrael. Okay.
Pretty sure his brother-in-law went with him. It didn't say he didn't, so he probably went with him.
Possibly.
Grant wants to know, was Yithro a priest to Yahuwah?
I don't think so.
You're talking Moshe's dad, right?
Yeah. I don't
His
think.
father-in-law.
Was he a priest of Midian, right? But he was, I don't think he was a priest to Yahuwah.
I don't know. So this was the same guy. So in the extracurricular books, we find out that this is the guy he caged him for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was years and years and years that Moses was in captivity in Jethro's place, and if the stories of the Apocrypha are correct, then it was the Jethro's daughter that kept Moses alive in that time that he was there. But he was actually a prisoner for a very long time.
Like 10 years, I think.
Yeah, a very long time before this. I don't know so much he was a priest or anything before Yah. He was definitely somebody that kept, he was a jailer of Moshe's. Okay, so here we are, fellas. Everybody, we're popping into this. Who to see animal skin supposed to. So we're talking about.
We're talking about the first portions for the first portion.
We're still talking about first portions on this.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is actually where the first portions came out of exactly.
But he was just saying with Isaac, Ishmael, and Abraham's firstborn was not with Sarah, and then Esau was legitimate firstborn, but was tricked out of his birthright by Jacob.
Yeah.
So then he said he wanted to know the rest of the story, and he thinks that Isaac was in on the whole trick. And so then he's just saying he can't believe that Isaac was so senile that he couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things to consider here. One is absolutely that it was a ruse. Like this was something, and you can tell. It doesn't say that from scriptures. It definitely says that Isaac, he couldn't see, right? There was something that he just couldn't figure this out, and we all, how in the world does this happen? I could have any one of my kids come up to me, and simply by hearing them, probably by smelling them, I could probably tell who's who. Everybody's looking at me like, oh. So that's the same thing. So it's one of these things that it could very well be a ruse. But when you look at it, Isaac and his wife are very upset about the people in and around. They were upset about their kids. They were upset about the people that Esau married. And so there was a lot of things about their future that, as he being the firstborn, they didn't want him having that, because he was obviously not caring about the blessings of the firstborn. And as far as taking care of his dad and mom, Esau never did that. In fact, Esau was always taking off of their stuff, stealing their stuff, to where Isaac had to go fight for their stuff back. And Jacob never did that. Jacob was always hooking them up with milk and honey and all this stuff, and he was like a good kid versus the really, really bad kid. So regardless whether it's a ruse or not,
The Quran says Esau was not worthy.
yeah, Esau definitely wasn't worthy, right? His parents had told him who to marry and what not to marry, and just to tick them off, he went down that road. And so when you're looking at that firstborn of who do you bless under the firstborn, and who do you want to be taking care of, potentially your wife, like when you die as an old man, who's going to be there taking care of your wife? There's a lot of things that you would want to consider. And Esau definitely was not qualified for that trait. And as far as him being tricked out of it, we should probably discuss this as well. The trick was his own gig, right? He was the one, and a lot of people do not understand why it is that he gave up his birthright for a bowl of soup. Okay, so to understand this, you guys have to understand that same morning, Esau had just gone out, and Esau had just killed Nimrod. He had just killed the most powerful man to ever walk the lands. And not only just one guy, he killed like a bunch of dudes in this, and he hacked him up. He hacked Nimrod up. And so Esau was a dead man walking. You're not going to just go kill the leader of the so-called free world at that time and be okay. They were going to hunt him. He was going to die. At that point, he is sitting there looking for a bowl of soup. His life is already over. Every bit of understanding of his peaceful world that he was ever in, it's over. You can't just go kill Nimrod and think it's going to be okay. So he thought he was going to be dead in just a little bit of time. So what difference does his birthright truly make at this point? And he's making a very logical answer to this entire thing. So as far as being tricked out of it, he thought he was dead anyway. So he did what he was going to do. Okay, let me see. Anything else in there? Yeah. So daughter of Abraham, she knows that he killed Nimrod.
Sarah says maybe birthright follows the mother's lineage. You get firstborn, so a man can have many firstborns. Just a thought.
That's interesting, yeah. The rest of the story, yeah, it could be like Paul Harvey right here. The rest of the story, okay. And you don't get the rest of the story unless you read the Apocrypha. And that's what the thing is. None of us have been hidden from the rest of the story. It's all out there. And when you look at it, you're like, this idiot traded his birthright for a bowl of soup. That makes no sense. Whatever. But then when you get the rest of the story, that's like, oh yeah, okay, well he thought he was dead anyway. What difference does it make? Okay, here we are in Mark 9. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaden, will you please give us a breakdown of what's happening?
We are in the days of Yehoshua and his disciples. He is going around teaching and doing many, many miracles. He recently fought the Pharisees and explained about food and and them washing cups. It had nothing to do with food, but actually them and their traditions, and them washing their hands before they ate, which is a great thing to do, but it's not a command. And then we also, last week, we with the people eating. They were hungry. There's a huge crowd following, and they didn't have a lot of food. And so Yehoshua keeps multiplying bread, and he just keeps breaking bread, and just keeps multiplying. So they ended up with 12 baskets of fish and bread, and he saved the people and gave them a whole bunch of stuff. Then Yehoshua tells them to watch out for the Pharisees, and the disciples are slightly confused still because they're confused on everything Yehoshua says.
Yeah. Okay. All right. About the. I don't know. Pleased that he killed Nimrod. It's not that he wasn't. So sis, daughter of Abraham, and it's not that he wasn't pleased, because Esau, Esau was a hunter. Like, the person who was probably born to kill off Nimrod was probably Esau, right? You would not have been able to get near Nimrod unless you were a hunter. That's the thing. Nimrod was a hunter. Esau was a hunter. They were both very, very, very good hunters. And so to be able, as a hunter, if anybody's ever been out there hunting, it's a lot about being really, really quiet, right? You got to sit there and you got to wait for the animals to come in. You got to wait for whatever it is. And this is the same thing. So Esau was doing what Esau did, and Esau wasn't a holy guy, right? Esau was not a commandment keeper to the fact that his brother and his father and his patriarch family were. He was a wild man. He was very, very wild in all things. And it was interesting because somebody asked me a question the other day, and I got to respond to that question about choice over versus free will versus predestined organization. What is it? Predestined
Ordinance?
Predestined destination, wherever it is. You guys know what I'm saying on this. Are we predestined to be this place? Are we just walking out a thing? Or do we literally have free will to do what we want, how we want? And it is the latter, that we literally have been given the abilities to choose right and to choose wrong. And Esau chose wrong. He chose wrong a lot of times. And does that make him a bad person? No, it just makes him a different person, right? He did a lot of things. When you go against the hand of Elohim, that makes you a bad person. But as far as killing Nimrod, that was just probably what he was born to do. And I don't think that he would have been blessed or not blessed for killing off Nimrod, because Yah could have made Nimrod just fall over dead. He didn't need Esau to go take care of this and to do it. It's just how it went down. Okay. Let us roll on. See, I get caught up in the chat too, guys. So I'm sitting here reading chat with you guys. Jasher and Tobit are my favorite books, by the way. Both excellent books. Very, very excellent books. Very good. I like all of these. Jubilees, Jasher. And you will find these guys, you'll find people out there, and everybody wants to fight against all of the different parts of the Apocrypha. Like, well, this couldn't happen, or this detail didn't happen, or this is like folklore. Guys, here's the thing. When we are astute and studied in the first 5 books of Scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, then we can read other stuff, because we understand that we're not going to be led astray. And you're not going to find anything in the Apocrypha at all. It doesn't matter if it's a book you disagree in. There may be some things, and I see people toss out the entire book of Jubilees or the entire book of Jasher because they can't make one particular event fit into their doctrine. And that's the thing about picking and choosing little itty bitty tiny things on this. We have the first 5 books of Scriptures. That is our doctrine. Beyond that, when somebody says, okay, eat the blood, drink the blood, eat the fat, worship on another day, you realize that that's that pig slop that we're talking about, and they don't have good doctrine. Okay, let us roll into this a little bit more before I get too far out in the weeds. Let's roll. Okay, Mark 9. And he said to them, Messiah, truly, I say to you, that there are some standing here who shall not taste of death at all until they see the reign of Elohim having come in power. Okay, this particular verse really trips a lot of people up on this. A lot of people don't understand it. Anybody want to take a stab at it from here at this table? Jade? Anybody? We've talked about this a zillion times.
So
Eli,
it was most
Eli's my
likely
man.
the resurrection.
Yeah.
Is what most of them would live to see the resurrection. They would not die until after the resurrection of Yehoshua.
Yeah, and that is the reign of Elohim having come to power. That's our Messiah being slaughtered to death and rising up inside of the 3 days, and people seeing that. That is the power of Elohim that has been right before their eyes, not too much longer after he actually said this. Continuing on, 2. And after 6 days, Yahushua took Kepha and Jacob and Yochanan and led them up on a high mountain alone by themselves, and he was transformed before them. And for those of you who read my week readings that we read out of the book of the Nazarene, we've just kind of gone over this at kind of ad nauseum, but it's an amazing time that we have right here. And this is during the time of Sukkot. And so a lot of people don't realize this. When they were on this little mountaintop, we are up there. This is a Sukkot time. 3. After his garments became glittering, exceedingly white, like snow, such as no longer on earth is able to whiten. And there appeared to them Eliyahu with Moshe, and they were talking with Yahushua. And Kepha responding said to Yahushua, Rabbi, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 booths, one for you, one for Moshe, and one for Eliyahu. Because he did not know what to say, for they were exceedingly afraid. And yeah, let's put ourselves in this position, right? We have our Messiah, and then all of a sudden we go up to the top of a mountain, Messiah starts glowing, his clothes start glowing. According to the book of the Nazarene, his face started shining like Moshe's face, like Noah's face. When you guys read the Apocrypha, when Noah was born, Noah's dad was freaked out. This dude was like shining, glittering. There was all sorts of stuff that was going on in Noah. And Lamech thought that his wife must have had a child with the fallen angels. This must have been what it is. So now we have Messiah up there, and he's glowing. His clothes are glowing. And Peter can't think of anything else to say other than, hey, let's put some booths up here for you guys. This sounds great.
Not too bad, yeah.
Good idea, right? What else do you say? Well, it's a coat. Let's put some booths up here. 7. And there came a cloud overshadowing them, and a voice out of the cloud saying, this is my son, Ben, the beloved. Hear him. Okay, guys, we end up with Trinity breaking verses all the time. All the time. It doesn't matter from the front of the book to the end of the book. The Creator and the Son are not the same individuals. If he was the same individual, right here, the Creator of the universe just lied. Do we want to accept that the Creator of the universe lied, and then when he says, this is my son, this is really him? This is not what it says, right? This is my son, the beloved. Hear him. Okay, do we have something going on, Mr. Nicole?
Richie wants to know how do Trinitarians go around that?
Trinitarians go around that by 3 or 4 verses. One is, I and the Father are one, and the word is actually echad, which means together, and it's the same as me saying my wife and I are one. So if you think that I'm saying my wife is me, that's not what I just said. And so the Trinitarians run in circles and circles and circles. They will go back to the verse in Isaiah that's improperly translated, and they basically bounce around. But then you tell them stuff like this is my Ben, this is my son, the beloved, hear him. Because if it was our Creator, he lied to us. It should have been something, I am Elohim, I am the beloved, listen to me, right? It didn't say that. It's completely opposite of that. This is my son, the beloved, hear him. And I talk about this a lot. When we say things in proper English, we have we, they, I, you. These things are all specific. Like when I say you, I'm not talking about me. When I say much love to all of you, I'm not telling myself I love you. I'm like, hey, good job, Jason, I love you. It is the proper English, and this is what the proper English is. 8. And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them, but only Yahushua. And as they were coming down from the mountain, he ordered them not to relate to anyone what they saw till the Ben of Adam had risen from the dead. Hold on, guys. Screw. I have some arm injuries I'm dealing with at the moment. Okay, why did Messiah tell everybody not to relate to anything until after he had been risen from the dead?
Because I think this is a faith thing, right? He didn't want people to know exactly who he was until after, and so if they knew what was going on, they'd be like, oh, this is the Messiah.
And this is the same thing he tells everybody all the time. He will heal them. Don't tell anybody. And the thing that everybody does is tell everybody. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think they obeyed on this one. I think they actually obeyed.
Okay, continuing on. Hey, Scott's here. Scott Freeman. What's up, Scott? How you doing, buddy? Much love to you, brother. And I saw Noe in there too pop in. Much love, Noe. Okay, continuing on. Where are we at?
I think we are on. I think we're on 10.
Okay, and they kept this matter to themselves, debating what the rising from the dead meant. And they asked him, saying, why do you, the scribes, say that Eliyahu has to come first? And he said to them, Eliyahu indeed, having come first, restores all. And how has it been written concerning the Ben of Adam, that he is to suffer much and be despised? But I say to you, that even Eliyahu has come, and they did to him whatever they wanted, as it has been written of him. Now, a lot of people say this is John the Baptist, right? A lot of people like the who was John the Baptist, and this is one of these things that Messiah says Eliyahu truly has come, and when he came, they did to him whatever they wanted, and so there's a lot of speculation upon these verses right here for sure. 14. And coming to the Talmidim, the disciples, he saw a large crowd around them, scribes disputing with them. And immediately, when all the crowd saw him, they were greatly alarmed, and running near greeted him. And he asked the scribes, "What are you disputing with them?" And one of the crowd answering said, "Teacher, I brought you my son, who has a dumb spirit. And wherever he seizes him, he throws him down, and he froths and gnashes his teeth and wastes away. And I spoke to your talmidim that they should cast him out, but they were not able." Okay, let's talk about this, because this is the New Testament is where we get a tremendous amount of things about demons, about these unclean spirits. And I believe one of the greatest issues that any single one of us has in any of our lives is that there's unclean spirits, and these things are always trying to take us. They're trying to seize our marriages. They're trying to seize the minds of our children. They're trying to seize our minds. They're trying to do whatever it is possible to take us away from our Creator. And so in this particular instance, we have a dumb spirit. Now, does this guy not know 2 plus 2, or what kind of dumb spirit are we talking about?
I think it more like
It makes him mute and deaf.
Yeah, we couldn't speak. And so this kid is basically unable to like either hear or speak. And this demon, guys, understand, this demon is the same stuff that can absolutely happen to you. So this demon was seizing him, throwing him down, and he's frothing and gnashing his teeth as he wastes away, right? He's not even eating. And so these guys were like, "Please take this demon out." 19, Messiah, and he answered him and said, "O unbelieving generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring him to me." Now, these are some pretty tough words, right? These are things that you wouldn't know exactly what's happening, but our Messiah just kind of rejected people in a way. Like, how long am I going to be with you guys that you cannot see how to defend yourselves against this kind of stuff? 20. So they brought him to him. And when he saw him, immediately the spirit threw him into convulsions, and falling on the ground, he rolled about, frothing. And he asked his father, "How long has he been like this?" And he said, "From childhood. And often he has thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if it is at all possible for you, have compassion on us and help us." Big things, right? All of these unclean spirits, these evil things that are attacking all of us, have supernatural powers. Enough that those who get infested with unclean spirits are unable to defend their own physical bodies about being thrown down, right? This is a kid that probably does not want to throw himself in the fire. He probably doesn't want to try to drown himself, but yet you have something inside of you that is tearing at you so strongly, and you don't know what it is, but it just wants to kill you. These are things we should understand, is that the things that are against us want to kill us both physically and spiritually. If they can kill us physically and we are not spiritually sound, they have achieved both of their goals at the exact same time, and they have delivered another child into the hands of Hasatan for all times. 23. And Yahushua said to him, "If you are able to believe, all is possible to him who believes." Big words, right? All of us. What is possible is completely possible to those of us who believe. 24. And immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "I believe, Adonai, help my unbelief." And when Yahushua saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to him, "You deaf and dumb spirit, I order you, come out of him, and never again enter into him." Okay, there's some things that we should probably consider on this verse. One is that the demons are able to be rickrolled. We're able to get rid of them. We're able to snap them out of this thing. But we also know from other scriptures that you can get rid of one demon and 7 more can come back in that are even far more worse than the other thing. So one thing the Messiah said here that's very important is never again enter into him. Because he could have just done like a lot of people do, cast that demon out, and then later on, he brings all his friends back and you're in a far worse spot than what you were. 26. And crying out and convulsing him much, it came out of him. And he became as one dead, so that many said that he was dead. But Yahushua, taking him by the hand, lifted him up, and he arose. And when he came into a house, his talmidim asked him separately, "Why were we unable to cast him out?" Very important stuff coming up here, guys. And he said to them, "It is impossible for this kind to come out except through prayer and fasting. Okay, we have just received some incredible information. This is the kind of stuff that can absolutely save our lives. How can it save our lives? Well, number one is none of us know when we have unclean spirits that take us. It's a lot of these things. I believe depression and the way the mind works with depression is a complete unclean spirit. And if you can fight these unclean spirits and take care of them, then you will not have this evil roaming you. I believe that people that get depressed are completely inundated with unclean spirits, and it is something that it's hard to figure out, right? We don't know why we're depressed. We get depressed. Our actions prove that we're depressed. We can't get up off the couch. We can't clean our house. We can't do anything, and we don't know why. So, what do we know? Well, we know that there is a kind of demon that is in these people that could possibly be in us that goes out through prayer and fasting. So sometimes prayer and fasting for ourselves and for our families and for those around us is absolutely the greatest way to make this happen. So right here, we just got some armament that all of us should very much consider and understand. When everything is going really, really bad, when our families have gone completely chaotic and they're trying to kill each other and eat each other's throats out and just destroy each other, there's some unclean spirits, right? Unclean spirits. It's time for the entire house to fast. It is time for you to fast. It is time for us to get into prayer. And it is time for us to try to get rid of these unclean spirits so that it's not like the days of Noah. After the days of Noah, for those who have not read the Apocrypha, Noah's kids were all infected with demons. It was so bad and so hard that Noah was begging that the demons be gone. And our Creator I think he took 90% of them. I think he took most of them. But still, we're talking legions of unclean spirits that are there to feast upon you and your soul. And so we need to make this impossible for them to feast on us. Continuing on at 30. And going from there, they passed through Galilee, and he did not want anyone to know. For he was teaching his Talmudim and said to them, the son, the Ben of Adam, is being delivered into the hands of men, and they shall kill him. And having been killed, he shall rise the third day. But they did not understand the word, and they were afraid to ask. Now, one of the things that we have as people of today in this world is we have all of the scriptures and we have all the Apocrypha. So if we don't understand something, it has nothing to do with back in the days, right? We know the future based upon the past, and the future is what the scriptures gave us. And for these guys, they didn't understand the future. They didn't understand their Messiah was about to get taken by man. They had no idea. Messiah kept saying this. He's like, I got to die. I don't want to do this. It's a horrible thing. I'm going to go away. Nobody got this up until the moment it happened, and then everybody was tripping. Continuing on. 33. And when they came to Capernaum, and having come in the house, he asked them, what was it you disputed among yourselves on the way? And they were silent. For on the way they had disputed with one another who was the greatest. And sitting down, he called the 12 and said to them, if anyone wants to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all. Okay, very big things, right? This is something that all of us can use right now in our world. We can use this in our quest for the kingdom. We can do this, and we have to understand that the kingdom is not about the greatest. The kingdom is about the most humblest. The kingdom is about those who are obedient. The kingdom is about those who love their neighbor as themselves. It's a different set of people, right? And as we're sitting around discussing who's the greatest among everybody, they knew they were on the wrong track of their conversation. And that's why when Messiah is like, what were you guys talking about? Not a word. It was empty. Crickets, right? Nobody wanted to say this because all of a sudden they knew they were going to be owned. 36. And he took a little child and put him in their midst, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, whoever receives one of such little children in my name receives me. And whoever receives me, receives not me, but the one who sent me. Okay. Big stuff, right? You have an entire religion that is all based about Jesus. Jesus. And all of these people, they don't care what their God has said. They care about what they think out of context Jesus has said. Now, their Jesus, our Messiah Yahushua, did not say that the laws were no good. He did not say that we don't need to keep the laws. And he also says his laws are his dad's laws. He also says he comes in his dad's name, teaching what his dad taught him. And so our commander-in-chief, the major commander-in-chief, is his dad, Yahuwah. And so when he sends his disciple, his soldier down there, he says, if you receive me, it's like you're receiving the children. If you do not receive the children in graciousness, then you're absolutely receiving our Messiah. And if you're not receiving the Messiah, then you're not receiving our Creator. Very big things that we need to understand, right? The kingdom is about changing our life, our lifestyle, the way that we were, our old dead man, the person that is involved in the world, tasting like the world, becoming like the world is what we need to absolutely stop. And we need to be more like our Messiah. 38. And Yochanan said to him, John, teacher, we saw someone who does not follow us, casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow us. And Yahushua said, do not forbid him, for no one who works a miracle in my name is able to readily speak evil of me. For he who is not against us is for us. For whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you are of Mashiach, truly, I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. And whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it is better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. Big stuff, right? We're talking about our Messiah, the qualifications of our Messiah, the stuff that it takes for us to be qualified into the kingdom. And then he breaks into this this little itty-bitty sentence here that basically dooms the entire pedophile elite. All of these pedophiles and all of these people that basically feast on the little children worldwide, it is better for all of these nasty ones that a millstone were hung around their necks and they were tossed into the sea, because the corruption that they have done, and we have talked to those who have been involved in satanic rituals as children, that their parents were into this stuff like this, and you can definitely see without a shadow of a doubt that anybody coming out of these satanic cults and these satanic things where they have been involved in this, they have a different kind of a life. They have a different understanding of everything, relationships, marriage, the entire set of relationships. And so we have to be very, very careful, because the book of the Nazarene talks about a pebble, and that our lives and everything we do is like a pebble. If what we say is like that rock into the water, there's going to be a ripple out, and that ripple may go for a long ways beyond what you can see. But for every splash that you have made, a ripple, whether it be good or bad, will be accounted to us. So when we have said something to our children that is not good, and they grow up and they say things to their children that are not good because it came from us, then we have destroyed things. We have hurt the children. There's a lot of things to consider when we talk about all of this, but we need to make sure that we're good, that we're ready for our rewards, and then we're also ready for judgment, because we're not going to get any rewards until we can figure out if we even make the qualifications in this. Okay, 43. And if your hand makes you stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life crippled than having two hands, to go into Gehenna, into the unquenchable fire, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. Okay, so there's something here. I think I'll hit this other verse here, because I think this is very, very important. And if your foot makes you stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life crippled than having 2 feet, to be thrown into Gehenna, into the unquenchable fire. And again, it gives us where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. And if your eye makes you stumble, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter into the reign of Elohim with one eye than having 2 eyes to be thrown into the fire of Gehenna, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about all of these things right here that can stop our progression into the kingdom. I would say, just from based upon looking at humanity, I would say pornography is one of these things that completely builds everything into this, right? There are so many men and so many women that are stuck into this abominable death sentence of pornography, that every single act of pornography, you are becoming a more adulterer, You are destroying your chances with your Creator by living in sin. And you're also, guys, pornography is not reality. That's what people do not realize. Pornography is a fake world and a fake relationship that does not exist in real marriages. And it will destroy any hope that you have of a normal marriage. It will destroy whatever hopes you have of a Yah-bound, Messiah, Yahushua loving family, because you will be out of control, because you will be surfing this fake world, this fake existence, and you will be looking at women that are not going to be what you are qualified to raise your children. You're going to be looking at other things, and that goes the same for women. Women are all involved in this trash and this crap as well, and you are destroying your marriage. You're becoming adulterers. You're looking at fake reality that is harming you. So, based upon the words of Messiah, if you had a pornography addiction that you could not stop, it is better for you to pluck your eye out. If you are one of those guys that is a pedophile and you cannot stop touching the little ones, it is better for you to cut both of your hands off and for you to stop this than it is for you to lose your entire world. If at that point you chop both of your hands off, but you can't stop molesting the children, then you better start working at your feet. Start cutting the legs off until you can't even get around these people. We have a chance at eternity. But if we are making our life right now something that is improper in the eyes of our Elohim, then the eternity is going to be something where the worms do not die and the fire is not quenched. Anybody around this table want to go there?
No.
Anyone? Raise your hands. Nothing? Nobody? I got nobody throwing their hands up in the air to be in a place where the worms don't die and the fire is not quenched. Does that sound like a paradise?
Nope.
Is it vacation time? Maybe a place you might just want to go visit? Anything? No, it doesn't sound like a good place. And according to scriptures, you don't get out of this, right? There's no place in scriptures that the rich man made it out. The rich man never did get to go see Lazarus. He never did make a vacation spot up on the other side of this. He was always at a barrier of good and evil. And so, sure that we're not hanging out where the worms don't die and the fire's not quenched. That sounds like a bad place. It is time to get into scriptures. It is time to get into Torah. It's time to get rid of this pornography. It's time to get rid of this. It's time to get rid of a people that are not going to make the kingdom. We must do what we have in the eyes and the sight of Yahuwah and do it right. 49. For everyone shall be seasoned with fire, and every offering shall be seasoned with salt. Salt is good, but if the salt becomes tasteless, how shall you season it? Have salt in yourselves and be at peace among one another. Now let's talk about that last thing, right? We know that we are the salt of the earth. And we know that the people of Elohim, we have a light. And we can either put this light on the top of a mountaintop or we can put it under a basket. We can either shout the greatest things that have ever been given to us, which is the Torah and our Messiah, or we can hide it. We can be this saltless, terrible tasting food that never ever has any kind of reason to be around other than simply to be around, or we can salt it and we can become that chef's special. We have the greatest chefs in the entire world. We have our Messiah and we have his dad. And if you're looking at somebody who has built and engineered something of incredible fruition, it is all of this, right? So this is the time when all of us can simply take the crap that's in our lives and get rid of it. Take the pornography, get rid of it. Take the evil in our lives. Take the dirt and the damage that we're doing to our families and change that around. Every single day is a new day. Every single time is a new action. When we fall, when we tip over, when we fall into sin, we repent and we change our ways. We stop what we were doing to get to that point. We don't allow ourselves to keep going to that same point. And it's not easy, right? Repenting and getting out of it and leading a good life, it is something that takes work. And so when we are looking at the kingdom, when we're looking at the people of the kingdom, that's what the people are. The people of the kingdom are different people. And I hope that we all make this. I hope every one of us can high-five each other in the kingdom to come. And I hope that I hope you get as much out of these readings as we get with hanging out with you guys. So with that, I think we are good. Let us, Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace.
Okay. All right, guys.
guide us every day. With His law so clear, we stand strong and free, given armament and shield for eternity. All praise to Yahuwah, His word is our might. Precepts so holy, lighting up our night. We tell our children, speak of them true. Write them on our hearts in all that we do. Statutes so just, they shape our soul. Following His paths we're made whole. Daily we ponder, nightly we dream. Yahweh's wisdom like a mighty stream. All praise to Yahuwah, His word is our light. Precepts so holy, lighting up our night. We tell our children, speak of them true. Write them on our hearts in all that we do. Statutes so just, they shape our soul. Following His paths we're made whole. Daily we ponder, nightly we dream. Yahweh's wisdom like a mighty stream. All praise to Yahuwah, His word is our might. Precepts so holy, lighting up our night. We tell our children, speak of them true. Write them on our hearts in all that we do. In the law we find our freedom soar. Torah's power we can't ignore. In His commandments we find peace. In Yahuwah's love we never cease. All praise to Yahuwah, His word is our might. Precepts so holy, lighting up our night. We tell our children, speak of them true. Write them on our hearts in all that we do. All that we do.
All right, brothers and sisters, I want to go over real quick the daughter of Abraham and Jacob. Please elaborate on what, when a pedo does all that, but still imagines in his heart due to temptation. These are these things that, you know, there's a sickness in the pedophile world, right? There's the eye of the tiny eye is what they call it, and those who are actively in it, you got to find something else, right? Number one is you don't do it. Number two is you get a hobby. Number three is you probably get a wife, right? Start signing and aligning your life to the correct ways that we were. And there was never anything of any time when kids are a delight in the eyes of sickness like this, right? We're to protect our kids. We're to take care of them. And unfortunately, the world has gone to a very sick place. And so for those who actually know they're in the act of pedophilia, I would literally probably cut my finger off. Like, to the point, if I could not stop it at the expense of my soul, I would take it and chop my finger off. And if that didn't stop me from doing this, then keep going. Keep getting little nibblets on my fingers until I'm done, until you you have more problems in your life than being able to sit around and envision things that are going to get your soul completely owned. So with that, guys, much love to you all. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May His light forever shine on you. May you forever find the grace of our Creator and forever find the Torah in all of His words. We love you forever.